Okay, so to explain this entire video, we're going to be discussing about this part of the trailer, so listen in carefully. That's what we're here to talk about. The invincibility sound plays when they get hit by the stingray. That armor sound effect is likely just an error on Nintendo's part because you do still take damage judging by the pixels of enemy ink on your screen. But at the time, we started speculating on what if this actually was a parry, and would a parry be a cool idea in Splatoon 3? To talk about this insane mechanic, I've brought on two other top players, Kyo and Pika.
Pika, and I'm the blob guy.
Yo, I'm Kyo from the Team FT when I play buckets. It adds a layer of interactiveness to the fights in the game, which a lot of times can just go, I shot you first, you're dead now, or unlucky, you sat on a bomb, you're dead now.
I'm just scared of what the numbers are going to be on it mostly, but the concept is really fucking neat.
Yeah, me too. To be clear, this is the armor sound effect, so it could be some form of piercing damage or something. I guess real quick, I'll air up my concerns. This cannot work against one-shots. Like, I think one-shots cannot be something that would be parried. I think it absolutely breaks them, because stuff like range, tense, especially rollers, have a very predictable and linear timing you can't change. And if you're able to parry those, I think you're just kind of screwed. Like, if you see a dynamo flick at you, you just sub-strafe to get the momentum, because you might need momentum to squid roll. You roll, tank the dynamo hit, and then shoot him. However, if it doesn't work against one-shots, I think it's actually pretty smart. Like, it could work. I kind of agree with Kyo. Because if it doesn't work against one-shots, this mainly mitigates, like, fast-firing weapons, but it's not as good against them, because, you know, they're rapid-fire. So I think it worked pretty well. Another thing I want to point out, for the parry to work, you shouldn't be able to shoot. Like, if you do the squid roll variation where you shoot, you should not have invulnerability. We know you can parry by rolling twice, because that's what they do in the trailer, and I don't think you can do a second roll if you shoot, because you would get out of that squid form. I think it should be the same thing with the invulnerability. You should only have that, like, parry armor if you're only rolling and not shooting.
I get what you mean, but I don't see how it would be done. You're invincible at the start of the roll, so like...
Maybe you have to input the roll and shoot at the very start of it. Like, you can't just shoot in the middle of it. You input roll and shoot, and the shoot happens at the same time.
Either that or, like, when you start shooting during the roll, it stops, like, the rest of the roll, and you therefore lose the other properties.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
With another, like, I feel like that'd be the easier way to execute it.
Wait to see people lag and shoot and be invincible at the exact time.
Yeah, I would rather not, yeah.
As much as, like, I can appreciate why you would want to parry, and in a way I kind of am excited about this, but at the same time it's like, I already feel like squid roll was plenty good. Like, it's a movement option that you get to shoot during, and now we know you can do it twice in a row. That on its own already feels like a really strong mix-up option. So I feel like adding a parry to it might be too much. I mean, it might not be, but I think that's giving a lot to this new movement options. It's a lot of changes, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in.
I'm very open to the idea of them making... To me, when I see this, I think it makes... I hate using this word. It's my least favorite word ever. The mechanics of fighting is like a bit more interesting without fully diving into the Splatoon 1 aesthetic of let's just wear a quick respawn and only fight. Okay, now here's the way you fight, and you have this extra layer of I roll to not take damage, but you're also just not diving at people, you know, the entire game and respawning, right? If you die, you're still gonna get punished for dying.
Yeah, I see that. I'm both hopeful and concerned at the same time.
Same.
Like,
if I'm like one shot away from death, and I roll away from like a bomb, and the weak hitbox hits me, but I parry that, so I'm like still alive. That's pretty cool. If I'm one shot away from death and I parry away, but an E-liter full shots me like mid-roll, but I don't die because
that's
like,
just dumb.
That damage or something, like that's just not fair at all.
Yeah, my worry is just really that, like, again, the wind-up stuff, especially rollers, I think is easily the most effective one. Maybe not as bad for Carbon, but like Reg Roller, Dynamo, Flingza, you just would not work. You just don't
those deserve to be able to one-shot you if they read it.
In my head, I think it's a way for them, because I don't think they're gonna dial back on the let's make the shooting, you know, they move faster and stuff. I don't think they're gonna hard nerf all of them. I think this is a way to compensate for the other weapons, because rolling through shooter shots, probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Rolling through blaster shots, I don't think it's gonna be, like, if I direct you, I'm pretty sure you're gonna I don't think that's gonna take damage.
Yeah, that brings up an excellent point, like, when talking about the balance of the game. When done right, this is a nerf to fast-firing weapons, specifically, because it gives you a way to close the gap against them, since they're really good at pre-firing and stuff. But if done wrong, I think it mostly counters the slower weapons and makes shooters better. So I see one of two realities in Splatoon 3. One,
Exactly.
shooters become more broken. Or two, balance has been achieved and we get a new mechanic that's really good. I don't see any middle ground between those though, so that concerns me a little bit. Like, I think it's either gonna be really good or really bad.
Nah, I sort of agree. I think it really depends on the nuances.
Yeah, actually, this would be pretty good against Splatlings too, if you think about it. That might not be good news for Splatling players, but I mean, it'd be like that sometimes, I guess.
I think it'd be okay, because like...
Splatlings have distance, so it's not as bad. Like, they have distance and mobility compared to shooters, so I feel like they could deal with it easier.
I see the reality in which it can be extremely terrible, but I'm gonna hope that it won't be, and then assuming that they do things correctly, I think this is a super net positive. Dealing with like free fire and just like helping people fight. You're not getting insta 3-shot when you cross a corner against a Hydra.
Yeah.
Like, just an
Yeah,
example.
exactly.
I think it also brings up, like, originally Squid Roll was kind of supposed to help with this in the first place, at least I feel. Like, rounding corners or approaching enemy ink is really hard, and that's why there's not too much interaction in S2 when deaths are really, like, a huge thing for the game. This would make it the perfect tool to dip around a corner or something. In that case, yeah, like, I do see the positives. Like, if done right, we have a new approach option that balances the game at the same time and adds more depth to it. I just think it's also easy to mess up. And, you know, I want to have faith in Nintendo here, and I honestly do, and I do because Splatoon 3 just looks so fucking good. So I want to have faith that it's like, okay, if they're doing a parry, they're doing things correctly, so we have to have faith that they're gonna make it work. And they have enough time. You know, the game's not rushed. They have time to test this and make sure it's okay.
Actually, when I think about it, my concern is this, but with the charge hold weapons, and hoping that the charge hold doesn't carry over if you roll. If it
Imagine the
does,
mix-up GooTuber could do.
I'm not.
No, forget, I'm sorry, Pika. I know you like your off meta. Forget GooTuber, dude, Nautilus.
It would just be funny.
The no, I know, but forget about Goo. The non-shooter matchup would go from bad to you literally just can't win. You'll just
that's
squid
not
roll
fair
with the charge, tank your shots, and then shoot you. So yeah, I think if they do this though, that's a good point. I don't think they can do charge holds in a squid roll. If it's a parry, I don't think they can.
I don't like the idea of the charge hold carrying over through the roll. I can't wait to see the GooTuber super squid bag me and then jump across my screen invincible and dome me.
That's another interesting thing though. What if that charge hold in a roll thing was a mechanic exclusive to GooTuber?
Oh, that would be funny.
That could be a good idea and make GooTuber actually worth using. If GooTuber is the only one that could do it, now it's got a gimmick. I think if they did this, they honestly would maybe have to tone down sloshers, because like outside of shooters, I think sloshers are the second best class. They're all really good, and mainly they just struggle at dealing with specials. If it's a more fight-orientated game, and the buckets have solid kits, like Tri-Machine and Slosher would be insane. I guess at the end of the day, like, while the idea of a mechanic like this is concerning, like, I don't even think anyone's brought up the idea of giving Splatoon a parry. I could be wrong, but it's like, this is very uncharted territory. Which I think, in a way, is a good thing for a sequel. Like, it will make it stand out. Though I do agree, like, Kyo's right. If it's implemented correctly, it's a huge thing for the game.
The other question of, yeah, how's this going to work with our wonderful netcode we got going over here?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm
we'll
choosing
talk
to
about that
ignore
one.
that fact right now because
Okay.
I'm still on the copium that Splatoon 3 will have better online because of Mario Party Superstars and stuff. Like, maybe it'll be slightly better and maybe we don't have to worry about it as much.
something like this. You need the online to be better because, like, let's just think about it, the laggy players with Splashdown, right? Like, their shit is invincible the whole way through. I don't want to see a roll that's invincible.
I mean, just ledge teleports too. Like, people just teleporting on ledges at times too. Like,
Yeah.
imagine that, but, you know, you're also fucking invincible. So, while parrying may be an extreme option, it actually has a lot of positive factors for the game and could be incredibly interesting. I hope one day we'll see that kind of thing tried out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in another video.